everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. The creative design team is doing another Love Your Stash challenge this week. We are working with kits from our stash, and we would love for you to join the challenge. Today I have chosen a kit from my Craft with Heart subscription. This one says October on it. I believe it was last October, but it could be the October before because I'm a bit behind. Each one of these kits comes with all of the supplies you need to create 2 layouts. The elements in the top layout caught my eye. I have some photos of my children from September 2001. Weather here in September can range anywhere from 30 degrees to 100 degrees. It often just depends on how Colorado decides to behave. So I decided to stick with the fun layout instead of the fall layout for these photos. If you receive these monthly kits in the mail, you know that everything you need is included in the package. There's no cutting or stamping required. All of the die cuts are easy to punch out. You also have a sticker sheet and pre-printed background sheets. This kit also comes with a couple of photo mats. I am going to set aside the yellow ones that come with the kit, but I probably will not be using them. One complaint I have heard about this kit is that you cannot change them from their original design. Well, today I am going to show you how to use the photos you have with these kits to create a unique layout. The orientation of my photos and the number of photos that I have here is a little bit different than the original design. So I am trying to lay my photos down onto those background sheets, working with the pre-printed circles. If we take a look at the original design, all of the photos are actually landscape orientation, and it looks a little bit different than how I have laid out my photos. But my goal is to work with the pre-printed background that I already have. This is not much different than if you were working with a pre-printed patterned paper. You work with the patterns that you have in the background. So I'm going to start with the left page because these are my focal photos. I'm going to set the right page aside, and I'm going to start picking out a couple of pattern papers to go with the stickers on the sticker sheet. I keep samples of all the paper patterns in my stash on little rings above my desk. On each ring is a category, and this category matches the bins that I have over on my shelf. So right now I am just going through the autumn ring and finding papers like this black one that match the layout and the theme of my photos. So once I'm done going through the fall category, I'm going to grab the one that I call childlike, and I'm going to see if there are any patterns in here that will also go with the theme and feel of the photos and match the stickers that are already on the sticker sheet. So I've chosen the papers from my stash. I have that black background. I have a couple of fall colors and this blue. All of these are colors and patterns that go with my photos and match the stickers that are already on the sticker sheet. I've also grabbed this plaid piece that comes from our current Happiness Lives Here because it does have some colors in it that match some of my photos. I'm going to start by creating a frame to go around the 2 focal point photos. I'm cutting down that Happiness Lives Here plaid pattern paper. It has some blues and some reds and some yellows, all fall colors that will go well with this kit that I already have. So this is going to be placed down on that gray background, and it's going to be centered between those 3 sets of circles. Below that, I'm going to place this black pattern sheet, which is full of fall sayings. I'm going to be backing my photos in black and white cardstock. These photos are a bit overexposed. These were taken back when we developed film, and you never quite knew how they were going to turn out. I decided to back them in black to match that black strip and to help balance out that overexposure. Originally, I wanted to back these in a blue color, but it just brought out too much of the overexposure, so I chose to use the black instead. Someday I'll scan these photos in, get them redeveloped, and they'll look a lot better, but for now, these photos are going to work on this layout. It does bring back many memories of taking my film into the processor and hoping for the best and always being surprised when the photos arrived. So I'm going to grab some of these little flags that come with the kit. They are stickers, so I'm going to be removing the adhesive stickiness using my anti-static bag so that I can place them anywhere on my layout without having to commit. I plan on placing them up in the upper right-hand corner to start with. I'm just going to layer them together. And then I decide that not only do I like them in that upper right-hand corner, I also want to do some matching pieces down in the lower right corner. Before I do that, I want to adhere all of these papers down on that backing sheet. This plaid paper is going to be adhered down between all of those pre-printed circles, and then I'm going to place that black script paper down below. Now I can trim those sticker flags using my little Fiskars trimmer here. This thing comes in handy for small little objects like this. I'm going to be placing the larger piece at the top, and the smaller pieces are going to be chevroned and glued at the bottom. My original thought was to make these flags go at an angle, but I've told you guys many times in my videos that I really struggle putting things at an angle. I like things to be nice and straight. So of course, these flags are not being placed at an angle, but you are welcome to do so if you choose to make this layout. Now that I have those top flags adhered in place, I'm going to make some chevron cuts into the smaller pieces and adhere them down to the bottom. I am grabbing my ruler here to help me line up the top pieces with the bottom pieces. I love having this big clear ruler whenever I'm making scrapbook pages because it stretches all the way across the page and it allows me to make sure things are nice and straight. This last little flag was a bit too long, so I did have to go and lift the paper just a little bit to slide it up and under. Once it's in place, those stickers look like full-length strips behind the plaid paper. Off camera, I've cut some pieces of pattern paper that match these flags, and I've added some stitching along the base of that black strip. That pop of color is going to peek out behind the photos, which are going to be placed at an angle. I am starting to like the way this looks on certain layouts. So now that I know where the photos are going to go, I'm just going to grab my 3D foam tape, place it behind each one of the photos, and adhere them in place. Even though the children in the photos aren't wearing any orange, the orange does match the fall feel, and blue and orange actually pair very well together. Now I'm going to dig through a few of those die cuts that were punched out, and I'm going to be placing this awesome flag over here on the left. It matches the two red flags and forms a nice triangle. I also have this circle that was one of the stickers that came with the kit, and I'm placing it in the corner here above the photo, but I'm not quite sure if that's where I like it. I realize I don't have a title yet, so I should probably focus on that before I add any more elements. I've grabbed my little Cricut Joy, which is perfect for quick cuts. I'm going to be placing the piece of black cardstock down on the mat. I have already designed the title in Design Space, and I'm just going to send it over to my Cricut Joy. The Joy does not cut this fast. I have sped up the video. It does cut paper and cardstock really well. Once it has finished cutting out this fall title, all I have to do is peel it off the mat, and it is the perfect fit for the top of this page. I like the design of the black outline, but I feel like it needs some color behind the letters. I haven't decided whether I want blue or orange, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut out both. Again, with that Cricut Joy, I'm just going to run it through real quick, cut them out, and figure out which look I like better. I'm leaning towards the blue because it forms a triangle with the other blues on the page, but I want to see what the orange looks like. And I feel like this is too many orange colors too close. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with my original gut feeling, which is the blue. Now I just need to adhere the layers together. I'm using the mono liquid glue because it allows me to move around the two layers and line them up before the glue sets. The title is going to be lifted up off the page using some thin foam tape. I have used that foam tape to help me hold the center of the A in place. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set it in that upper left corner of the page. Since this is a fall themed layout, I have grabbed a couple of leaves from the other kit. I've added some stitching and I'm placing them next to the word fall. Before I do too much more on this page, I want to grab the second page and start working on it. I have 3 photos that I will be using on this page. I'm going to try to figure out where I want to lay them as I work with the pre-printed journaling lines and circles that are already on that background page. I've decided that this top photo can be cropped because there's a lot of extra stuff in the background, and it can go right above the other photo. Now that I've cut down that photo, I want to create a background for these 2 photos. I've grabbed a piece of that black fall script paper, and it will be placed right here along the right side of the page, allowing those journaling lines to peek out for me to add my journaling later. I'm also going to add some white matting around each of the photos so they pop up off the page. I haven't decided exactly what I want to put behind the photo of my daughter, but for now I'm just going to add the little white mat. I want to match that pop of color on the left over on the right page. So I've added a couple of scraps of paper that are the same patterns and colors. I am also going to add some of those flags that come off the sticker sheet. I'm just using my scissors to cut off a portion of each of the flags that I need, and then I'm placing them up alongside the photo. Right now, I feel like the left side is very heavy in colors and patterns, and I want to be able to balance that over on the right page, which is why I've added those little pops of color and the flags. I've also added a circle behind that group of colors. This is to balance out the other black items that are on the opposite page. I have the fall title and the black strip behind the photos, so by adding that circle, I've created a triangle shape to draw your eyes across the layout. I'm going to be using this fun title that comes with the kit. That was the original reason that I picked this kit, because all of my children were out having fun in the warm fall weather. Before I start embellishing this page, I want to adhere down some of my main pieces. I realized that I really needed something across that black strip, and I found this scrap in my bin. It has some little chalk drawn stars across it, which match the stars that came in the kit. Even though stars really aren't seen as fall-ish, I feel like they add to the playful feel of this layout, and that is one of the reasons I picked this kit. On the sticker sheet are some scalloped borders, and this little pop of blue just adds a little bit more color to this side of the layout. Off camera, I added some stitching at the top and the bottom of that black strip to match the gray stitching on the opposite side. I've also tacked down those paper scraps and that circle, and I'm going to add those flag pieces onto my layout. I can really see this layout come together. Those fall patterns and colors, although not traditional, work really well with the theme of these photos. Please forgive me as I continue to slowly lose my voice through the video. Hopefully I can make it to the end. So this little die cut, my fave, came with the kit, and that is actually my favorite photo of my son. It truly reflects his personality then and now. I'm going to place this photo so that it is centered across the horizontal line of the other two photos and centered between the pre-printed circles. Doing this will help it look like one continuous layout. Go ahead and removed the word family, and now I'm going to look and see how to balance out this layout. I have a cluster with that circle in the upper right-hand corner, and I want to balance it on the left page next to those photos in the lower left corner. I've tucked another one of those circle stickers behind the photos, and I added that awesome tag again. I also want to create a little grounding platform for my title, so I've added another one of those sticker flags underneath the word fun. And I've added a few more of those leaves from the other kit to match the leaves up in the word fall. So now that the layout feels balanced to me, I can grab my embellishment books and start grabbing a couple of little die cuts for my page. I'm just going to open it up to the black section and grab a couple of different elements that will match the theme of the layout. I chose to stick with black embellishments only because there are already a lot of colors on this layout, and I feel like adding more black will bring in some of those neutral tones and help balance it out. You will probably recognize a couple of these different die cuts from your own stash. Some of them are new, some of them are much older, but they all are pairing well with the other die cuts that came with the kit. After adding the black die cuts, I decided that I needed a couple of blue items to go on this layout. These are not fall die cuts, but they do match the theme of children having fun. So I have a little hashtag, fave, and the camera. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adhering these embellishments down onto the page. As I was adding the leaves to this title, something felt off. I realized it was the bluebell blue. The cinnamon color appears in other elements on the page, but that bluebell only shows up in the leaves. And I have introduced another color to the layout, so I ended up completely removing those leaves. I'm sure this is something you have done before too. You've added an element thinking that it's going to work, and as you are working through the process, you realize it really doesn't work. So I'm just going to start over with those little clusters of embellishments. I found this metal button in my stash, which adds some dimension and color down by that fun title. It has both the orange and the blue colors. On this flag, there is a green pennant. I don't have any other green on the layout, so I'm going to go ahead and trim off that excess triangle, and then I'll adhere this pennant up near the title. The rest of the embellishments can be adhered in place using foam tape and liquid adhesive. I like to make my embellishment clusters multi-dimensional, so I use a combination of thin and thick foam tape. When I was choosing the colors for my embellishments, I was using the colors that are in those flag stickers. There's a lagoon blue, a nectarine orange, and a cinnamon color. So I dug through my stash and was able to find similar embellishments, both past, new, and from the kit, that would all match those colors. By matching all of those colors with the flag, it really pulls this layout together, and I was able to balance it out with the random black embellishments throughout the layout. Since our goal is to use up our stash, I have grabbed some older stickers. I like the little typed sentiments on here, and the colors match the colors on the layout. One of the stickers says "Lovely Day," and it's going to go up by that heart tab. The other sticker says "Smile," which just reflects that goofy photo that I got of these two kids. Now I have 3 of those teal sentiments to help draw your eye across the page. The last element I'm going to add to the page are some acrylic shapes. These are Halloween shapes. They're little splats, splatters, stars, moons, and Google eyes. But I thought the splats would look really great on this page and reflect the playfulness of the layout. So I'm going to add a couple of the little splats on the page. I'm also going to add some of the acrylic stars that are black and some of the acrylic stars that are that lagoon color. These have been in my stash for a while, and some have lost their stickiness on the back, so I do need to glue a few of these down onto the page using that Tumble liquid adhesive. Like I always do, I came back the next morning and realized it needed a few changes. The fall has a little star up by it, and I added a couple of hearts that were heart stickers that were part of the kit. These are all colors that match the flags. I also want to add a little bit of stitching on those flags. So instead of grabbing my sewing machine, I am going to use this border stamp set, which is our February stamp of the month. It has a little stitch border, which works perfect for stamping faux stitching. The original stitching is gray. I've chosen to make these black. So I've grabbed my intense black ink and I'm randomly stamping that stitched pattern on the flags. I think adding stitching to a layout always adds a little bit of texture, and faux stitching works just as well as actual stitching. And now this 2-page layout is done. Can you believe that I was able to take a kit, completely rearrange it using elements from the kit and from my stash, and create something completely new that reflects the theme of these photos? Let's take a look at the original layout. So you can see the flags are used a little bit differently, the circles are used a little bit differently, and whenever I use one of my kits, I always add the word used at the top. So if I go to pull it out again, I know that there might be elements left, but that this kit has basically been used up. So when you compare this to the layout I made, they are completely different pages, but I was able to use elements from my kit along with other elements I had in my stash and create a completely new set of pages. So for those of you who feel like that subscription kit won't work with the photos you had, here I've been able to show you that you can take just about any photo you have and use elements in the kit to make it uniquely yours. I hope that this layout inspired you to dig through your Craft with Heart kits or other scrapbook kits that you might have within your stash and take a look at them in a whole new way. You can use the kit as is, or you can just add other elements that you own and create a whole new design. If you choose to use one of the kits in your stash, I do ask that you let us know. Go ahead and use that hashtag CDT, Love Your Stash, so that the creative design team can see your creation. If you have missed any of the past Love Your Stash creations, you can click on that collection icon above. While you're at it, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you are notified when I add a new video to this channel. I hope you have a wonderful week. I can't wait to see what you create.